everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be making this video for you guys today. For any of you who don't know, my name is Vanessa. I am a mindset coach. I also read astrological birth charts, and I created my very own manifestation journal that you guys can find on my site. Make sure you guys check it out. It is amazing inside. So I really wanted to make this video about my breathwork experience that I went through on Friday night. A lot of people have been talking about breath work. I've even been doing some, following along on other YouTube channels, just kind of doing my own thing, getting familiar with it. But I was presented with the opportunity to go this past Friday, and I was like, you know what, let me just go and try it out. Oh my God, I cannot even put into words how transformational and literally amazing it was. It literally was fantastic. For anyone who doesn't know, breathwork is a sequence of breathing that actually heals the traumas and pain that we've held on to emotionally, that we actually keep trapped inside of our body. And so when I went into this breath work, I had some knowledge, but I had never done it, in person and with a group of a bunch of other women. So it was my very first time, and let me tell you, out of this world. So I just want to kind of set the picture for you guys so you can get an idea. It's a small yoga studio near my house. There was about 7 of us ladies in there, and it was very warm inside the room. Like, I think she said the temperature was at 74, which is actually cool, but I felt very hot. Like, I was literally sweating. So I was like, oh man, I hope they put up the air. But then the facilitator, she started handing us out blankets, and I was like, okay, blankets, it's already so hot in here. So I took the blanket and we all lay down, and she started us with the breathing technique. So it was breathing in through the stomach, then the chest, and then letting it out through the nose. And so, I'm getting into it and doing the breathing. Then all of a sudden, my body is freezing, literally ice cold from the tips of my toes to the top of my head. I was like, oh my God, it is so cold in here. And then my entire body is tingling. So if you've ever had your foot or your hand fall asleep and you feel like you have pins and needles in it, that's literally the vibration that I was feeling throughout my entire body. It was literally not necessarily painful, but it was like, whoa, what is this sensation in places that I had never felt it before? So we were listening to the meditation music that was going on in the background, as well as following the facilitator's voice, telling us how to breathe, because we were literally in this for about an hour. And so once you're doing it, sometimes you forget to breathe the right way, or, you almost also get very tired because it's such conscious breathing. All of your attention and effort is to breathe in this particular way and pattern. So it got very exhausting. Then all of a sudden, the facilitator said, I want you guys to laugh. And when you guys do a fake laugh, oh, ha, ha, ha. So literally all 7 of us are doing this fake laugh. And then all of a sudden, we're all sobbing. Literally, I can hear every single person, and we're just crying so deeply. I literally haven't cried, and I cry a lot. I haven't cried like that in so long, to the point where I was had my hands over my face. Then I was putting my hands on my chest because it was almost, I could feel all of the pain coming up. And one of the craziest parts is I could remember being about 7 or 8 years old and crying and nobody coming to pay attention to me. My mom didn't come, my dad didn't ask me what was wrong. I just remember being a little girl and just being so sad that nobody cared. Because when you do this breath work, a lot of trauma comes up, a lot of things that we've suppressed and really just dug so deep really starts to come to the surface. And that was one of the main memories that came to me, where it's I just felt uncared for. I am the oldest of 3, and so I'm very used to being the strong one, or the one that has it all together, or taking care of the little ones, my younger brother and sister. And so I always felt like I wasn't allowed to complain or say how I felt because, my mom and dad had too much other things going on and I didn't want to burden them, with whatever I was going through. We continued this sequence of breathing. I started to feel the energy of two of the women that were kind of close to me. We were in a circle, so it wasn't a big space, but two of the women, I could feel their energy, and one of them, I felt it so strongly. Like while we were in the breath work, we're crying, we're screaming, almost like an exorcism is happening. Like I even told my husband that if a stranger would have walked into that room, they would have been so frightened because at the scene that was happening, literally there's 7 women laying on the ground, screaming, crying. And when I say screaming, I don't mean like, no, I mean like from the pit of our stomachs, like literally letting it all out. Like for a moment, like I even got scared myself because I'm an empath and I feel so much of everyone else's energy. And I was just like, oh my God, like I wanted to get out of it, but I couldn't because I was too deep. And it was just so intense. But I felt the energy of this one particular woman that was next to me. And I literally, as I was breathing, I kept thinking to myself, how do I know her? I started like making up stories in my mind. I'm like, oh, have I seen her at the gym? Did I see her at the smoothie shop? Like maybe at the mall? And at the end, I was like, do we know each other? Have we ever met? And she was like, no, I don't think so. And so the facilitator had told me like, the energy, your guys' energy might have recognized one another, maybe even from a past life. I mean, it was so intense for me that I was like, I could literally feel her sadness, her anger, her frustration. And sometimes when that happens to me, it's hard for me to kind of cut off and decipher like what's Vanessa's emotions and what's someone else's emotions and the things that they're going through. I have like a lot of trouble sometimes cutting that cord. Another one of the really big emotions that came up for me was people pleasing. This is something that I really struggle with, in my personal life. If anyone who knows me, they know I am the ultimate just giver and doer. I don't ever want to leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth. I really struggle sometimes with setting boundaries because I want everyone to like me. I want everyone to be happy. But I've also come to a place in my life where I realize that people who really care about me and love me aren't going to take advantage of me. And I need to set those clear lines so that way they know not to overstep them. So, and something that had kept coming to the surface while I was breathing and crying and screaming was the fact that I don't tell people how I really feel. Sometimes someone may hurt my feelings or disregard me or just really have no compassion for something that I may be going through. And instead of me saying how I feel, like if I want to just tell them to F off, I don't, because one of the big reasons is I don't ever want to give it too much attention. Like the biggest thing is I'm like, oh, I'm not going to give it my focus. If I react, then that means that they have power over me. But then I dwell on it. Then I go home, I sit down in my bed or come into my office and I'm like, why would they treat me like that? And then I start feeling sorry for myself. So the huge thing that kept coming to the surface is that I need to speak my truth. I need to open up my throat chakra, and doesn't mean I have to tell people to F off or be rude about it, but I definitely have to communicate my feelings in a loving and peaceful manner, but I have to let them know because people only treat you the way that you allow them to treat you. So that's been my problem my entire life. And, as I'm learning and growing and also healing, I'm learning to assert myself in a way that I feel respected and I can also continue the respect for others. We were coming out of the breath work, towards the end, like I said, we were in this for about an hour. So imagine an hour of all of this crying, all of this screaming. My face was literally bright red. Even when I came home that night, my kids were like, what's wrong, mommy? Why are you crying? Because it was just so intense. So as we were coming out of it, she asked us to journal, which I'm so happy that she did because I was actually able to write down exactly how I was feeling in that moment, because so much comes up and everything is moving so quickly. Even at one point, like I felt like I was in the sky, you know, it's almost like you feel high, if I'm being honest with you. It's literally, I could feel my soul being part of the universe, and it's just unexplainable, truly. So as we were coming out of it, we were journaling. The feeling that I had when I was like fully awake and back in my body, you know, was just so much peace, so calm and just soft. Like I even told my husband, I was like, I just feel soft, like almost like a little kid, like very innocent and gentle. And for the entire weekend, literally Saturday and Sunday, I don't even think I raised my voice, because I am very loud naturally. I'm Cuban, so my talking voice sounds like I'm screaming and mad, but I'm not. It's just how we talk in my family. And I literally was like talking like this because I just felt raw. I just felt like so opened up. You know, it's almost like after you give birth, you know, I know it's like TMI, but I was literally like just gentle. And even with my daughters, I didn't feel the need to like ever raise my voice that weekend. And it just felt amazing. Like I literally, I already booked my session for the end of this month, and I'm bringing 2 of my girlfriends with me because it really was transformational. And this is something that I'm gonna be implementing into my daily practices, along with all the other things that I do, because that's how important internal healing is. That's how important it is to heal this emotional trauma in order to manifest, in order to create the life of your dreams. We think like, oh, I can manifest easily. You can some things, but then those bigger things that you're struggling with, you're struggling with them not because you're a bad manifester, it's because you have emotional trauma. You have wounds that have been stored and stuck inside your body, and your body carries memories, and those memories and those feelings are the reason why you can't progress and move on to the next stage of your life. So I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if nothing else, I hope it inspires you to go out there and try some type of, you know, different healing techniques, whether it's like working with a coach, like I said, or doing the breath work or meditation. Find something that really just fits your personality, that feels right for your soul, and do the work. You know, people want like instant gratification, like, oh, I had 1 session and now I'm healed. Like, definitely not. Picture yourself, you're like an onion, and every time you heal something, you're peeling back a layer, and then you're like, oh, there's something else. And you peel that back, now there's something else. You're constantly working. We're literally never done until we transition. And you want to make sure that the time that you spent here is you're fulfilled and satisfied, and that you felt like you did what you came here to do. So I'm really grateful that you guys watched this video, and if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop it in the comments, and I can't wait to see you again.